Welcome to the Morning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll be recapping the action from the NFL's Week 7, including the Kansas City Chiefs victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland there, even this long
Yeah,
out.
it's a Mike Werman
Still,
special.
still,
San
still
Diego
saying that.
Chargers. Yeah.
Almost saying that. Yes. We'll also be talking about the Major League Baseball playoffs now reaching the World Series phase of this 2025 season. And we'll be talking about next week's week 8 in the NFL and giving some picks as we usually do for our locks of the week. We'll start today once again with the Kansas City Chiefs with a comfortable win, 31 nothing over the Raiders at home. Mike, now will you finally say that you're confident in the Chiefs? They're on track, their offense is running smoothly, and it's smooth sailing from here out.
I'm confident that they're a good team this year. I think
Yeah.
they'll make the playoffs. I don't know. I think they still at 4-3. I think they still have quite a few losses under their belts. And they have a tough schedule coming up. The Washington game doesn't look quite as tough this week now that Jaden Daniels seems like he's going to be out, but Mariota has had given the Chiefs problems in the past. If you remember the infamous playoff loss to Tennessee in Mahomes' rookie year, when Alex Smith was still starting, and Travis Kelce got hurt, and then there was the phantom uh, that sack that didn't count as a sack because of forward progress that would have been like a turnover, fumble, and then Mariota caught his own touchdown pass, and all that stuff that happened.
That's the one right there. That was the
Yeah.
dagger, though, right?
Um,
Yeah.
so that was that game. That was that game. I remember watching that. I remember watching the game. I'm in Baltimore tonight, but I was in Washington D.C. watching that game. It was a conference and staying in Washington, but um,
You're
yeah,
there
that's
getting ready for this week's match against the Bears, right? That's what it
yes,
is?
yeah, the Baltimore Chicago matchup. I guess Lamar Jackson is returning. But before we talk about next week, we'll talk about the Chiefs game. Yeah, I think this was a really easy win for the Chiefs. Maybe too easy. They still have Buffalo and Denver coming up the next couple of weeks at Denver. It's gonna be a tough game, even though Denver's not looking as good this year, maybe as they were or have been at parts of the earlier, maybe in the year or last year. They're still winning
All
games.
Yeah, although they had that crazy comeback this week
Crazy
though, and
comeback, the 33
yeah.
points in the fourth quarter to beat the Giants, who should have won that game. They missed two extra points that game that cost them the victory. So those poor
Yeah.
G-men. But yeah, the Chiefs. I think we're firing on all cylinders. The defense played well. The offense played really well.
They
Especially
really
when
spread the ball around, lots of
yeah,
receivers involved, and
yeah, some
yeah.
deep plays, some short plays. Rashee Rice looked good in his return. The running game looked better than it had in a while. I don't know if that's just because they're playing the Raiders and the Raiders aren't good this year, but the Chiefs did look strong, and there's still a game back in the divisional race now that the Chargers are down to 4-3 after losing to Indianapolis. The Chiefs are one game behind Denver, um, but yeah, I think so. I think the Chiefs have been, even though they, if I think the game at Buffalo will really be the determining factor. If the Chiefs can win at Buffalo, then I will think, okay, the Chiefs are the team to beat in the AFC. Um,
Yeah.
I still think they are, but I think the record right now is not reflective of how good they are. They're probably they lost three games very, very close,
Yeah.
and they've won four essentially blowout games, which is unusual in the Andy Reid era. We did have an Andy Reid gentlemanly home stretch that began in the third quarter when Mahomes actually went out before the end of the third quarter, and then
Yes.
they kneeled down before the 2-minute warning, even with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. So, um, Even though he's winning big, he's still a gentleman at heart, Coach Reed. But
Right.
yeah, what do you think about the Chiefs? Are they officially back? Um are they playing better than they did last year, even though they had a gaudier record last year? Do you think they're a better team this year?
Well, I think the main thing here is that we finally saw the offense look dynamic again, and it's been quite a while since we've really seen them be able to do things in like all the different facets of the game. Yeah, running the ball for like good chunks of yardage, being able to like get short distance downs, late, third and fourth downs, like being able to pick up the 1, 2 yards with Mahomes or with someone else even too. Like, Kareem Hunt's been doing really well at getting that like last yard or two, which has been a struggle for a few years, really.
Yeah.
In that type of play, they've been able to get pretty good passing plays on fourth down, but they haven't really had just that, being able to just run for a yard or two, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, look, they have lots of options downfield and underneath both, and then you still have Travis Kelsey too. So, it's
Kelsey had some pretty good catches.
yeah,
Rashard Smith, the rookie, I think, has looked good at times.
and they've
Uh,
worked him in more too. So it's not an overwhelming, too many options that they sort of had at one point in the last couple of years, where they like didn't seem like they could figure out how to use all of those
yeah,
players.
Worthy may have
Um,
gotten a little dinged up again. That might be a little
yeah,
bit of a concern. And Omar Norman Lott tore his ACL, so that's a bit of
yeah,
a
that's not great.
problem. But he was not rotation. At least he's a promising young lineman.
Mhm.
So maybe the Chiefs will bring back somebody like Mike Pennell if he's around somewhere, or um, bring another defensive tackle in to kind of be a rotational piece. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great game. Can't really complain. The Chiefs had very long, sustained drives. I think the first three touchdown drives were all over like 85 yards or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah,
And
because they were pinned back too, and they still
they
managed
scored
to
on their
discover down.
yeah, and they scored four. Their first four drives were four touchdowns, then a field goal on the fifth drive, and then basically take Mahomes out.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it was a really really good game. And you wonder, you know, the Raiders, what's going on with them, or is this how good the Chiefs are? They can make even a mediocre Raiders team look really really bad. So I don't know. We'll see how they play against Washington. I think that'll tell us a lot if they can if they can blow out Washington the same way they blew out the Raiders.
Yeah.
Um, that would be something.
And the Raiders are going into their bye this week, so we won't know anything about them in the next week. We'll have to wait another week to see how they bounce back.
Yeah.
So, you uh, yeah. Any other thoughts on the Chiefs game or?
Well, I think this is the this was the second of three straight home games for the Chiefs, which I think has also been helpful. So they play Monday night against Washington before going to Buffalo um, the week after. I think that Buffalo game is so you hope they don't overlook Washington while they're looking to Buffalo. Maybe that's the concern.
Right.
You don't want to get caught, and because especially the
Trap
Chiefs at this
game.
point, they can't afford just to keep getting racking up losses because I think they still want to have a chance at the number one seed, and they need to they're two games right now behind the Colts, who they do play later in the year, but
Yeah.
the surprising Indianapolis Colts, who defeated the Chargers this week. They look pretty good doing that. The Chargers have been kind of down with all their injuries. Um, who's the team to beat in the AFC if it's not the Chiefs, Dr. Scaff? Do you think it's the Chargers? I mean, the Chargers. Do you think it's the Colts or is it the Bills still? What is the newly resurgent New England Patriots? Are they uh,
Well, it's
um,
still probably the Chiefs, really. I mean, they've been in the AFC Championship game every year, basically, since as long as anybody can remember at this point, right? So
Mhm.
it's probably still the Chiefs, but I don't know. If you're taking the Chiefs out of it, then you'd still probably want to say it's the Bills. But we would probably not want to count out the Ravens if they didn't have such a terrible record already, right? So
Yeah, are they 1-5 now? Is that?
yeah, that's really surprising. So I don't know.
But they
Yeah.
can, they go on a tear. They can still, all they need to do is finish 10-7.
And they could win their division even
They
and
can,
still
yeah.
and still be a force in the playoffs. They have a pretty decent, core group, so they're
Mhm.
still probably going to be a threat, but they don't seem to be the defensive juggernaut that we've
No, their defense has been bad.
become
Even
accustomed to
when
seeing
Lamar
them
was
being,
playing,
right?
they were, yeah. So they got rolled by the Chiefs, rolled by the Bills. Um, the defense hasn't been strong really. The NFC has some interesting games too as well this week. Who was so which team do you think is most impressive in the NFC right now? Is it the Rams who humiliated the Jaguars in London, the team that Chiefs lost to a couple of weeks ago? Is it the Lions still because the way they beat Tampa? Um, we have 49ers, despite all their injuries, they're still playing pretty good football. Maybe this was just a bad week for Tampa. Seems like there's a lot of good teams in the NFC, but there's no one
Weird,
favorite.
right?
I guess you could say, there's Green Bay that's kind of there too.
The Bears
Uh,
have looked good the last couple of
Bears have looked good
weeks.
lately. Well, the Panthers have won several games in a row as well, so it's hard to. I don't think anybody thinks the Panthers are a great team, but here
Yeah.
they are. Um,
Is Seattle near the top of the NFC too, even?
yeah, Seattle. Yeah, with
They played pretty
uh,
well against Houston, who we kind of assumed would be in the running for a playoff spot in the AFC anyway. So they made Houston look pretty bad, honestly, on
yeah,
Monday night.
yeah. Houston hasn't looked very good this year in a lot of ways.
They had one game that they looked pretty good. Was that against Baltimore? Or maybe that was just
Yeah,
Baltimore. Baltimore being bad, I guess, defensively. They looked bad.
yeah. Houston. Well, so Houston right now is
2-4.
2-4. So yeah, Jaguars are 4-3. Colts are 6-1. Uh, right now, I think the Chiefs wouldn't be in the playoffs if you have the AFC. And the way the tiebreakers are working right now, the Chiefs would not be in the playoffs. You'd have the
Yeah,
Patriots, Bills, the Steelers, the Colts,
but are they?
Broncos.
They're one game behind Denver, right?
Yeah, one game behind
Still,
Denver, and they're still
yeah.
behind the Chargers in terms of the tiebreaker. Um,
They're even in record, but behind in the tiebreaker.
yeah,
Yeah,
in term-
which seems crazy that they're even they've matched their record already because they were looking like they could be like 3 games back not very long ago. But then
yeah,
they yeah
yeah.
then
It's
the Chargers have not played well the last three
Chargers have
weeks
not
and
played well lately, and they've
yeah
had too many injuries on the offensive line. I think. Uh,
apparently it turns out the offensive line is pretty critical for the team to be
yeah,
successful.
uh, and the Chiefs' offensive line has played very well, even with Josh Simmons's kind of unexplained uh, uh, absence.
Hmm.
Um,
If you're just
we
saying
have,
calling it a personal matter, I think, right?
yeah, I don't know what's going on. We have um, Jalen Moore, but he has stepped in and played very well at left tackle. Uh, and even Jawan Taylor has been playing really well, it seems like, at the right tackle position. He hasn't been lagged much at all this year. Haven't heard his name mentioned. The interior of the line's been good. Even though Trey Smith got hurt during the game, um, uh, I want to say, always want to say Frank Caliendo, but Mike Caliendo stepped in and did pretty well in his absence. Uh, And so I think there was maybe another injury at one point as well during the game that another player stepped in. Um, Maybe it was Juwan Taylor had to step out for a little bit. So there were three non-starters at the Lions, but the line has been really solid this year. It seems like it's Mahomes has been trusting it more. Um,
Well, they've been
yeah,
able to with this sort of like more, having these like wideout threats, some of it they can get rid of the ball really quickly to just get the hand, get it into the hands of some of these like really quick guys and let them
yeah,
go. So I think that must help the offensive line a bit too when there are plays like that
yeah.
that
You
can
don't
at
have to
least
block as long. You probably aren't.
right.
You can't
Maybe they
blitz as
can, mix it
easily.
up so they can, yeah, have a couple of those like short plays where they don't really have to do a whole lot, and then, you know, have only one play that they have to like really block for a long time and make sure they get,
Yeah,
Thornton downfield somewhere, right? So some of those plays that take a little longer to develop. Yeah. Yeah, they seem to be like really, yeah, firing on all cylinders at this point, which is finally nice to see with all these guys healthy at the same time for the first time, really.
yeah. Ever. Yeah, it's the first time that Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy had all been on the field together. Uh,
Yeah.
and they've been able to keep Juju in the rotation. They've been able to keep Noah Gray had a couple catches last game. Thornton came in for a little had a little bit of stuff too. So yeah,
Yeah.
they've been able to keep everybody kind of worked in. I guess Worthy didn't have a huge day, but he's everybody's gonna it's probably gonna go up and down. Um,
But yeah,
just
nobody had
depending
like
on
a huge game either, though, right? I think the most yards for a receiver was like in the mid 50s, I think, something like that.
yeah. It's also they only played 3 quarters, so
Right.
the
That too.
Chiefs were done before the fourth quarter had even begun to really they stopped their offense basically, and they I guess this is so hopefully Mahomes had 300 yards almost passing, but it was only through 3 quarters, so
Yeah.
who knows what he would have done otherwise. Um, you know, and he got another possession in, but or two, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Not too shabby.
not too shabby. Yeah. Any other games you want to talk about? We kind of mentioned a few of them. Um, Going forward, should we talk? Maybe we'll just talk about our bets in our locks of the week and how those turned out. Neither of us did very well.
Oh yeah. I did have a pick in the Chiefs game though,
You
so
did have a pick in the
that
Chiefs game, yeah.
that also did not go well, even though the Chiefs played well. But I had taken the over in the game, which was not. No, they weren't anywhere close to that because the Chiefs shut out the Raiders, which was, by the way, I don't think we mentioned that yet. Was Andy Reid's first
His
regular
first
season
regular season
shutout.
shutout. He had a 30-0 shutout of the Texans in the playoffs about 10 years ago. But
Also
the
with the
Alex
Chiefs, yeah. But
the Alex Smith era.
are you surprised that that was the first Andy Reid shutout? He's more of an offensive coach, but
I would have guessed maybe there would have been something with the Eagles. They would have shut out somebody with the Eagles.
that seems
Uh,
really surprising.
yeah, it's hard to shut teams out, but
Yeah,
the Chiefs have had some good defenses, and the Eagles certainly had some good defenses while Reed was there. So
yeah,
um,
yeah. That seemed really surprising, but yes, if you're betting overs, though, it's usually not great when one team contributes nothing to the total points. So over under was 45 and a half. 31 nothing was the final. So yeah, I needed a couple more touchdowns. Either the Chiefs not shutting down early or the Raiders to contribute literally anything. But yeah, so failed on that bet.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll go to my first. We'll do my failed locks of the week. I was 1-2 as well this week on my locks. I guess we'll start with the Carolina New York Jets matchup. Jets lost that game 13-6 at home to Carolina, who suddenly has won a few games in a row. I think are they 4-3, Carolina now?
Ooh, is that right?
Or are they
That
three and
can't be
four?
right. Is that right? That seems suspect at best, Mike. Carolina is 4-3.
I
Yes,
thought they
you
were
are
four and
correct.
three. Yeah. Yeah. So somehow Carolina is 4-3 at this point. So they are seem the same record as the Chiefs right now.
3-0 at home too. So
Yeah. So well,
if
we'll
you
see
if you
about
remember that for your next bet.
my next bet. Yeah. So, but I thought this was the game the Jets were going to get their first win of the season. They did not. They lost 13-6. So they were 1.5 point underdogs, I believe, at home to Carolina, and they lost by 7. So that was not a good bet on my.
It, you got about 2.5 points.
Hmm. Oh, I got them at 2.5 point underdogs.
Yeah,
Oh, they closed it. They closed at 1.5. So there's some people were thinking on.
yeah,
So I had a good bet in terms of where the money was headed, but yeah, it turned out not to
yeah.
be that. So they lost by 7, so 2.5. So I missed that one by 4.5 points. How about your second loss of the week, Dr. Scott?
My second loss was on Tampa Bay. I had them as a 5.5 point underdog to Detroit. I thought Tampa had been playing pretty well offensively. Baker Mayfield had been, finding a way to stay in games late and then either take them or at least keep them close late. They did not do that this week against Detroit. The final score there was uh 24-9 Detroit.
4-9.
Yeah, Tampa really never got going offensively. Uh so I had a plus 5.5. They weren't not close to that. They needed a couple more scores there. So I was off very badly on my two ones that were off. They were not close.
Well, maybe I'll mention
Very not
since
close.
we're talking about Tampa Bay and Detroit, I'll go to my lone win of the week and then go to my singles.
Mm.
I went with the under in the Tampa Bay um, and Detroit game. Was it 15 and a half? Was that the number I had?
52.5.
52 and a half, 52 and a half. So I had a high number. Um, and it was 23-9 or 24-9, so 33
24
point
9, yeah.
total. So almost 20 points under the total. So I felt pretty good about that one. I could tell the way the first half was going. I could tell I was in for a pretty good night. Um, and I had actually predicted it to be closer than what it was, but I was struggling. I think finally the injuries kind of caught up to Tampa. And I think Detroit was probably angry after their loss to the um, uh, their loss to the Chiefs last week. So probably not a good time for Tampa to visit uh, Ford Field. But but still, it was a little surprising. I thought Tampa would look a little better. It wasn't in than they did, but it was. And I didn't think Detroit looked that great either. They didn't score a lot of points. They dominated the beginning of the game, but they couldn't really score. They lost some fourth down conversions maybe, or they somehow I can't remember exactly what happened, but it seemed like they should have been up like 21-0 early, but they were only up 7-0 much of the first half. So, um, but yeah, so that was my lone win of the week. How about your lone
Yeah,
lock?
they did have a fumble and turnover on downs in the first quarter of their game, yeah. Detroit.
Detroit did, yeah. How about your lone win of the week, Dr. Scaff? Your lone
Uh,
lock that actually locked.
my win was in the Philly Minnesota game and Philly minus 2.5. And they did play well enough to win on the road. Final score there was Philly 28, Minnesota 22. So 6 point win. I only needed a 3-point win, so I had a couple of points to
What
spare
points to
there.
spare?
Not much, but just enough. And I didn't really follow this game too closely though, so I don't know if it was risky at different times or if it was uh like Minnesota coming back late. It looks like Minnesota did score a field goal relatively late, and then Philly kind of ran it out the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was super comfortable, but good enough for one win after my two terrible, terrible losses this week.
Terrible losses. Yeah. Well, speaking of terrible losses, my last game was a loss. It was my over under 54 and a half for I went under 54 and a half for the Washington Dallas game. Dallas scored 44 on their own and Washington scored 22. It seemed like it might be a good bet because Jaden Daniels went down in that game. So fewer points scored by Washington maybe. But the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, the Cowboys scored. You know, their offense has been very, very high powered with both Pickens and CeeDee Lamb uh, as wide receivers. Dak Prescott's been playing really well. So the Cowboys have been scoring a lot of points. So that game went up 66 total, so comfortably over the 54 and a half. So
Yeah, so how early did they go over? Was it did it even make it to the fourth quarter on the underside?
I don't know. Look it up there, Scott.
I don't even see it. There it is. Let's see. What was the over under? Was 54 and a half, which is really high. It was not even midway into the third, Mike,
Yeah,
when they hit Dallas had a 68-yard interception return, actually, is what tipped it 41-15. So that would have made it, yeah, 56 points. So that, yeah. So interception returns are really the underbetter's nightmare, kind of, right? You don't want
yes.
defensive scores to be
No,
mixed in
you want
there. You
defensive
just want
scores. That makes it even.
you
Yeah,
want like offensive turnovers like in the red zone, right? So like a long drive that results in no points and does not give the other team a huge advantage and uh, getting points the other way quickly, right? That's what
yeah. It gives them. Yeah, and
that's what
yeah.
you're hoping for, but not.
You want defensive stops, but you don't want defensive stops that are so good that they turn into points for their own team. So you
Yeah,
want to you want the way the Chiefs played. You like this, the if you want an under, you like the shutout, the stifling defense, but you don't want big plays and you know uh, defensive return touchdowns, things like
right. Or special team scores or stuff like that, right? Yeah, nothing quick strike
that.
sort of
No,
things. Yes, yeah, yeah. So yes, that one, yeah. I'm sure especially annoying when that happens when that is the play that tips that trips the over too, is that it is a defensive score.
it's
Yeah.
very annoying.
And that early though too. I mean, I don't it
Yeah,
would have been tough to keep it under anyway, but
yeah. So I think we've covered most of the games this week. We did our big board. We didn't talk about yet. We had mixed success this week on the big board uh, in week 7. I did a bit better than you, basically because I picked almost every game, the winner of almost every game correctly on the money line. Uh, and
14 for 15, Mike.
13, I think 13 for 15.
Oh, 13 for 15. Yeah, that's right. You missed the first
I
two.
missed the first two games. I missed the London game and I missed the Thursday night game, but I got every other game correct, including
Yeah.
there's only one real upset, and I got the it
And you
was
picked it.
I picked it. Yeah, the Indianapolis at the Chargers upset. So I did pick that one.
Yeah.
and the rest of them were all favorites. One out, and yeah. So I think I don't know. So it was a chalky day in some ways, although the games didn't weren't predictable in a lot of ways. The only reason nobody would have predicted the Broncos to have come back from that deficit and scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Giants. The way that game turned out, the Giants had that game. They played better than the Broncos that day, but they just couldn't hold it together at the end. So it's hard to.
I mean, it looks like you picked the game correctly, though. I mean, you did pick the Giants to cover the spread
I
and
did.
Denver to
I
win.
I threaded the needle.
So
Yeah,
so you did thread and you got both of those picks correct there. So
yeah.
although you did pick the under as I
I did pick
did,
the under.
but they
Way
went
over.
way over on that one, yeah, 33,
Yeah.
32.
My spread bets were actually pretty good too. I got uh 9 out of the 15 on the spread this week, which also gave me some money. But I only got 6 out of 15 on the over under, so that lost me a lot of money. But I did win $366 this week. You lost about $340 this week. So I'm catching up to you a bit in our cumulative outlay. I'm only down 2,000. You're down about 1,300. So we're about $700 apart. So we have another week like this. I will catch up to you.
Yeah, because you have the deficit here in this one week.
Yes.
One
So
one other oddity on the big board though was how much success I had in the noon hour games and how little success I had anywhere else, Mike. Do you think that was surprising? Is there something about the league that like the like I saw in the noon games that like clearly everything went the way I thought it would. I got all of the spread picks, all of the money line picks.
yeah, you didn't do so well on the over under, but you got all the spread, all the money line.
Yeah, still
Um,
17 of 21 in the noon games on
mhm.
across all of the picks, even with the four losses in the seven games
17
on
21,
the
that's pretty
over
good.
under.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's
17 out of 21 is a crazy high number. But that means that I did that terribly everywhere else. So how did I see the noon game so clearly and was so bad everywhere else, Mike? Can you make sense of this for me because I don't know what to do with it.
I think I think we made you made the noon picks before. We didn't make all the picks at once this week. We kind of separated them. You made the noon picks first, and then you made the later game picks a little later, I think. So
Yeah.
maybe if you had bet them all at the same time, you would have done better.
Would I have
Uh,
done or would I have done worse?
Worse, yeah, I don't know. Um, I got all of the 3 o'clock or four the late Sunday pre. Uh, Actually, I got basically every game right after noon uh, in terms of the spread and the money line.
Yeah,
Um,
Sunday 3 p.m. or later, you were 5 for 5 on the spread and 5 for 5 on the money line. Yeah.
and then
So that
yeah,
so you dominated the second half
I
and
got the second half. Yeah,
so together we could have gotten all of them right or only some of them right.
yeah, and then I kind of held my own in the Monday night games. I did pretty well. Uh,
Yeah, we
but we
we had very vastly different views as to what the Monday night games were going to be, and you were much closer to accurate than I
Yeah,
was.
I got well. Yeah, I ended up getting both of the money lines correct. Yeah, you picked the other two teams. We had completely opposite money line. Game.
Yeah, and over unders. We
You
each got one over under. That's the only pick I got right on Monday
went over
night.
under
Was one of the overs.
over.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, these games are very difficult to predict, and again, this maybe goes to show you shouldn't be betting on every single game every week. You should find the well, although I
Yeah,
guess
our
concern.
targeted bets haven't been doing that well either, though.
Yeah, I
So
guess my volume bets actually did better than my targeting bets this week. So if I just
there you
bet
go.
every So if I had $4,800 to bet or whatever it was I bet this week.
You should just be betting all the 3 p.m. games. I should be betting only the noon games,
Yeah,
and and then we'd be doing pretty well.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of not doing pretty well, we have Major League Baseball playoffs that we did not do terribly well on our bets on. We neither of us predicted the uh, World Series matchup, although you predicted the Dodgers, I believe.
Oh, I got the matchups right in
Oh, you got
the
both of you. Oh, I got
ALCS and
you got oh yeah,
LCS.
we got
Yeah,
both the LCS winners. I got neither ALCS
I
winners.
did I did terribly early on though, so I missed like three of four in the wild card round, and
Okay.
yeah, something like that. But
Okay.
I did get the two the two league championship series correct.
They were two very
But
different championship series where we had one was a
yeah,
sweep of the Dodgers over the Brewers 4-0. That didn't even look like the Brewers stood a chance at all, even though the Brewers had the best record in the league this year. It seemed like they were a really good team, but they couldn't hold a candle to what the Dodgers were doing. And the Dodgers
yeah,
had like miracle pitching matchups every night. Shohei Ohtani in the game four had three home runs plus a brilliant pitching performance. So it was just a magical series for
yeah,
the Dodgers. Will that come to an end against the Toronto Blue Jays, who came back and won in 7 games in dramatic fashion when George Springer hit a 3-run home run to win Game 7, 4-3 when the team was down 3-1 to the Mariners. Is this the so are the Mariners cursed? Are the Blue
certain.
Jays team of destiny? What is your take on the two ALCS and NLCS series?
I would hope that it's more to do with Toronto's clutch home run hitting abilities, which they did have like all season long. They are a big home run hitting team. And if you live by the home run, you can also die by the home run. And they ended up, getting the correct number of home runs in the last game, I guess, to trip them over the edge to send them to the World Series. But it does certainly seem like Seattle was first, though, right? This is like the second time in our lifetimes that we've been paying attention to this, that they've had really good records and great teams, and have fallen short. 2-0 in this one, winning both road games and then up 3-2. And then not able to close the door to there and actually get to that World Series. Uh, I'm gonna say it's more about Toronto's offense though than Seattle's curse. Do you see it that way too, or do you think it's a
I
you think
don't
they're a full on cursed?
I don't think I don't know if there's a curse, but it's disheartening if you're Seattle Mariners.
Yeah,
But the Blue Jays haven't been in the World Series for a while either.
nah.
Not since the 90s. They had some good teams in the mid 2010s um, when they were playing against the Royals in the ALCS when the Royals won the World Series back in 2015. This is a
Well,
completely new.
the Royals had to go through them in '85 also,
They
right?
went to their 85, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Blue Jays had those early 90s back-to-back World Series teams. I think this is going to be a Dodger. I think this is going to be a Dodgers win. I don't know why. Again, they're the best. I think they're the best team. But it's
Yeah.
it's it's baseball, so anything can happen because it's only 7 games. So I wouldn't count the Blue Jays out, but I do think that the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, probably say in 6 games. That's going to be my
You're
prediction.
not you're not expecting another sweep here, another 4-0
No, I don't think they can.
walkthrough.
I don't think that'll happen. I think the Blue Jays will win and get a couple. I don't think the pitching is really good for the Dodgers. I don't think it'll be pitching was like you know fantastic
Lights
this
out
year.
starting, pitching like deep, deep into games because the Dodgers
Deep game
bullpen
shut it.
has
Yeah,
really kind of struggled this year,
yeah.
and the players that even had kind of struggled uh, had really good performances in the NLCS. So maybe they've righted the ship there, but yeah, I mean, if you can get 7+ innings out of most of your starters, then in a 4-game series, then you're probably doing pretty well
Yeah, this day and
in
age.
that
Yeah,
series. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if they can limit Toronto's home runs, then it could be a short series again, though. So it just it depends on how many home runs Toronto's going to hit.
yeah.
because they don't have anybody that hits like crazy high numbers of home runs, but they just have a lot of guys that are capable of hitting home runs. Yeah. Do you feel old though watching Toronto with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being on this team?
Yes, I do. And he's been around for a while now, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, he's not. This is like his first year. Yeah.
And then they had Bo Bichette and uh,
Yes.
Kevin Biggio for a while. They had
Yep.
a lot of sons of good players.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vlad Guerrero Jr. But yeah, he's been their star for several years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what is your prediction for the World Series? Are you predicting Blue Jays upset, or are you predicting the chalk for the Dodgers?
I'm gonna stick pretty chalky. I expected the Dodgers to make it there. Uh, I think they're gonna end up winning it too. And I am not a fan of the Dodgers. I don't care for their like Yankees sort of mentality. They're remaking that sort
Hmm.
of old Yankees teams in Dodger blue. Like I find that kind of obnoxious though. I don't think it's good for baseball. So but they've like aggregated all of the MVP players
Hmm.
from both leagues there. I don't care for that. I don't think they should be allowed to be able to do that because
Is that
they don't care
because
about the baseball's version of the salary cap, the luxury tax. Uh, so they, spend sometimes like twice as much as any other team does on
yeah?
salaries. I don't care for that. It's not my. I think it's bad for the sport, but
So you see Dodgers
but
in
I
how many?
expect them to win. So
5 games, 6 games, seven?
I think it'll be relatively short. I'll probably lean towards five.
Okay, so I got six. You could have taken the under on the
Yeah.
Dodgers. Okay,
So okay, so we'll be I think we'll be making some bets on this. The World Series starts on Friday night.
yeah, Friday night.
I think we'll be making some picks kind of offline, I think, but we'll talk
Yeah,
about them
we'll figure something out. We'll discuss that on
next week.
the
Yeah.
Warren Jet Power. Uh, we'll be in probably game three by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the World Series to look forward to. Um, no real Royals news. I guess I've heard that the Royals Stadium, they're still talking to North Kansas City about the stadium location. Have you heard anything new about the location of the stadium?
The most recent thing was that North Kansas City was like preparing a new pitch, but it sounded like somewhere in KCK is also preparing a pitch as well. I don't think they haven't like put together any kind of plans or anything though, so I don't know what they're how far along it is. North Kansas City seemed to have put the best package together. They actually cleared the site, did all of the soil testing, got all of everything ready. Basically, had you know major architectural firm to design stadiums. Like, yeah, they had plans for a site there too. So it's like it seems like North Kansas City is further along than anyone else, but I don't think they're really taking it that seriously from what we've heard from the Royals anyway.
You can
Because it
actually
is a
see the
different county,
skyline in
it's a
North
different
Kansas City.
city. Yeah, that's what I think too. Like you can at least see the downtown from North Kansas
Yeah,
City.
I still think that West Bottoms would be the best place because you'd be able to see downtown from there, and you'd be able to face the stadium the way you want to face it, just the way the downtown is
Yeah.
oriented. I
And you
don't
like
think
the idea of putting it like almost right on the state
I
line,
right
right?
on. I
It's like,
like it right on the state line, or part of it in Kansas, part of it Missouri.
yeah,
You could even have the first base line, the foul line. I think a foul ball be in Kansas, a fair ball be in Missouri.
yeah,
Um, Having it uh, face southeast
yes, right.
of the batter hit
From home plate to center
home plate
field would
home
be
plate to center field would
southeast.
be southeast. And
Yeah,
then you see over the left field and center field wall, you'd be able to see downtown Kansas
the
City.
downtown skyline.
You'd be able to see
Yeah.
the West Bottoms district. I think would be interesting as well. I know there's a
It
floodplain
is an
kind of.
interesting area.
Yeah. So and
Yeah,
it's and if they put it on the state line because there's like it's just like some industrial stuff. It's not like the old cool warehouses that they have to tear down in that
yeah,
little area either. But that's where I would put it. But I don't
yeah.
think no one's asking the Warren Power Hour guys for some reason. But
Yeah. Yeah, no, like the site that they seem to be most excited about is the old Sprint campus,
And that's stupid.
uh, which is like fairly well occupied right now. Because the downtown Kansas City site that I think that they're still like exploring, uh, the Washington Square Park area. I think there's only one building that would have to come down and it's vacant. So like that seems to make far more sense than they're, using the old Sprint campus because like there are a lot of people that work in those buildings still, even
Yeah.
though what's left of
And
the
it's so
original
far
like
out.
Sprint
It's
personnel.
too suburban. I'd rather have the more urban location.
Yeah.
I still think that the current locations are just fine and the stadiums are just fine, but um,
And realistically, they had voiced their opinion that they wanted a downtown stadium. And if they're not going to go to the downtown stadium, I don't know why they don't just stay where they are.
yeah.
It does not make sense to like really explore these like suburban options from the mentality that they had, what they said their concerns were are not
Mhm.
being met with these other options. So if they want a downtown stadium, it should be downtown or just stay where they are. I don't know why they're messing with any of these other options, really.
Me
But
either.
of the other options, it seems like North Kansas City is the best one.
Yeah, if you have to go downtown.
Yeah.
Um, well, should we move on to this week's NFL action? The Chiefs host the Washington Commanders this Monday night. Uh, and it seems like as we mentioned before, Jaden Daniels is likely out. So the Chiefs are 10-point favorites against the Commanders. Another double-digit home spread for the Chiefs. Is this a game you're looking to bet on, Dr. Scaff? Would you bet on the Chiefs as one of your locks of the week, or would you think that the Commanders might cover this 10-point spread? And you think the Chiefs? I couldn't see you thinking the Chiefs are going to lose this game, but you think the Chiefs will
Well,
cover? That's the question here.
and part of it will be because I don't like a lot of the other games on the schedule this week. But I will be making a bet in this
Ooh,
game, and I am going to take the Chiefs on the spread this time. Like yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the Chiefs have been winning big, uh, or they're losing close. And I don't think with Jaden Daniels out that I don't think this is going to be a close game. I would not expect it to be a
you
close
just don't
game
want to see a
if
Marcus
he is
Mariota
out.
heroic performance.
I don't expect that, but there is a history of it though, right? So
Yeah.
I'm still going to assume that was more of a fluke than not. So I will be making this one of my locks of the week.
Ooh, okay.
Are
Lock of the
you
week.
going to be making a lock of this week in this game?
No, the over under is what is the over under?
47 and a half.
47 and a half. I
It
would
seems to be
force
higher than what you prefer.
it's higher than what I would prefer. I think I would tend toward the under. I don't think the Commanders are going to be scoring that many points. I think they have a lot of wide receiver injuries besides the quarterback injury. Um, so I'm going to go with the under on the big board, but I don't. It's not one of my locks of the week. Uh, but I do think the Chiefs will win. I will probably also bet the Chiefs -10 simply because they've been winning a lot of games big. Also because I'm a huge homer. So that's essentially the
And they're
reason.
coming off a comfortable win, and they did
Yeah,
take a few injuries, but they weren't
but
from
they're
like
healthy.
the skill positions.
They're
And
pretty healthy right now. They're clicking on all cylinders. So yeah, the question is you don't want them to overlook this game because they're playing Buffalo the week after,
right.
and that's a Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon game in Buffalo. The last time the Chiefs hopefully will be playing in Buffalo in that stadium. Buffalo's building a new stadium. This is their last year of uh, the current stadium in Orchard Park. They're building a new stadium across the street, but um, the Chiefs can close out this new stadium, their old stadium, with a victory,
That'd be great.
just as they did in the playoffs a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get to my first lock of the week
Sure.
this week. Um, there's six teams with byes this week. So there's Detroit, the Raiders, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Jaguars all have byes this week. So there are only um, 13 NFL games to choose from for our locks of the week. So we were a little bit limited. I picked one of my locks of the week is going to be um, San Francisco at Houston. Houston has been playing very good defense this year, but their offense has been pretty anemic. And they didn't look so good against Seattle last weekend in Seattle. They are 1.5 point favorites, however, against the 49ers at home. Coach D'Amico Ryans, of course, is a former 49ers coordinator. So maybe he knows what the 49ers are going to be doing on offense. It looks like probably Mac Jones will still be the quarterback next week, although he's been playing pretty well. And the Giants the 49ers have lost Fred Warner. They lost um, uh, Bosa. They've lost, a lot of their wide receivers are out. So they're really missing a lot of push, but they're still winning games. Kittle is back finally. So I like the 49ers chances. They're underdogs at plus 1.5 on the road. I think they're going to be able to beat, I think they're a better team than Houston. So I'm going to pick the 49ers plus 1.5 at Texas.
Maybe the most important thing though is Christian McCaffrey seeming to be really healthy and had a huge game last week.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Over 200 yards of offense between receiving and rushing too. So that's probably going to factor into this game again.
Yes.
Yeah, I would guess.
We'll see. We'll see. McCaffrey, yeah, he's been really good. And he's been healthy. Again, that's the key. Can he stay healthy? So far, so good for McCaffrey.
Yeah.
How about your second block of the week, Dr. Scott?
My second and third picks, I'm going to be picking a couple of over-unders this week. One I think is probably more questionable, so I'm going to do that one first. But I have the Cleveland at New England game as I believe the lowest of the over-under numbers on the week at only 40.5. Yeah, it is the lowest. San Francisco Houston is 41, so that's the second lowest. But New England's been playing a little better offensively with Drake May the last few weeks. Cleveland managed to put up some points the last couple weeks too, so I think they can get over that 40.5 point
Hmm.
total. It's not into the winter months yet, so it won't be, like snow aided, artificially low score. I think these two teams can manage, especially with a little bit more dynamic quarterback now in Cleveland with Gabriel.
Hmm.
Maybe he has a few weeks under him now, so maybe that's a chance for them to get a few extra points. 40.5 doesn't seem too crazy, so if both teams get it anywhere into the 20s, then it'll be comfortably over. So I think they'll manage to get the over on that one.
Okay.
I'm guessing you're going to pick the under though,
I'm going to take
but
the
not as a
unders.
lock.
I'm taking the unders for all of my bets this week again. We'll see if it cashes out this time. But yeah, it's not a lock for me. I'm just taking it as an under as a matter of course. Um, I see your logic, but I'm still going to go with the under in this game. I'm also going one of my locks of the week though. I'll do my second lock of the week is going to be an under, and that is another in Cleveland, New England. Not a appetizing matchup. There's a lot of kind of unappetizing matchups this week. We have the Jets and the Bengals, maybe the Dolphins, Falcons. Um, I think Tennessee and Indianapolis is another perhaps unappetizing matchup. Tennessee is favored by 14 points in that game. I'm not going to make a bet on the spread for my lock of the week. I'm going to make a bet on the over under. The over under is 47.5. I see the the Colts are averaging over 30 points a game, but I don't see them allowing very many points to the Titans, and I don't know if they'll score that high. either, because this might be a game where the Colts take it a little easy and don't worry about running up the score. So I could see this being a 28-7, 28-14 kind of game. So something to keep it under 47 and a half. So that's my lock of the week. Colts Titans under 47 and a half.
And with that 14-point spread, you kind of like it seems like Vegas sort of expects it to be somewhere like in the 31-17-ish range.
Mm-hmm.
That seems high though, doesn't it? For you think Tennessee can actually score 17 points?
Yeah, I would see it, yeah, 31-13, 28 uh 14,
Yeah.
something like that is my
Which
guess.
means they could still cover the spread, but but that total might be
Yeah, I'm still
low.
thinking I might end up taking the Titans on the spread. I haven't decided yet. I kind of want to see where the number goes. It probably won't stay on 14. It'll probably go up a little bit or down a little bit. And
Yeah.
that'll probably determine what I'm going to do. If it goes down to 12 or something like that, I'll take the Colts. If it goes up to 15, uh, the Titans.
That is in the 3 p.m. block, which you are the king of the 3 p.m. games as of right now. So it seems like you have to follow this logic too. Everyone should be buying into this, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since I did well one week in it, I'm gonna continue doing well
Yeah.
next. This is always because that's how this gambling thing works. Trends
Yes.
always trends always stay trendy.
Always, always. Whichever way they start to go, they continue to go forever.
That's so easy to predict, and so people make so much money gambling.
Everybody does. Everybody does it.
Everybody but
Everybody,
the
everybody's a
casinos.
millionaire gambling.
Yes.
Yes.
How about your third and final lock of the week, Dr. Scaff?
Third pick of the week. I'm going to go to a game that I expect to be relatively high scoring. Again, this will be the Chicago Bears at Baltimore Ravens. Uh, Baltimore's defense has been pretty terrible this season, giving up, in the 30-point range almost every game. Uh, and the over-under is 49 and a half. So if Chicago, which has been scoring in the mid 20s, if they can stay in that range around between 20 and 30, and Baltimore, I assume, will be able to score some points as well. Seems like with the line they have, which is Baltimore favored by 6.5, it seems like Vegas is expecting Lamar Jackson to be back this week. So I'm going to expect this game to be pretty high scoring. So I'm going to take the over on this one. Chicago at Baltimore over 49 and a half.
Over 49 and a half. I'm going to go with the under as usual, but I appreciate your logic, and I can see why you might think it goes over because yeah, the Ravens defense has been this could be a 31-28 type of game.
Yeah.
The Ravens pulling it out if Lamar Jackson is playing. It seems like he is since the Ravens are favored by 6.5 over the resurgent Chicago Bears who've won 4 straight games. So um, that's that's interesting. That's an interesting. But you're favored by 6.5, so that's a big spread. That again the Raven the betting line with the Ravens and Lamar, they are seen as still the a potential juggernaut. Uh, being favored by such a big spread against a decent Chicago team. So
Seems
that's
weird, right? With the 1-5 Ravens favored by almost a touchdown against the 4-2 Bears. That does seem like odd, right?
yeah. So that might be something to
But it is
think
an
about.
odd scenario.
Yeah, something to think about maybe betting on one way or another. I guess we'll make when we make the big board bet, we'll have to go one way or the other on those. But yeah,
We'll
I'm
know a
still
little bit more about Lamar Jackson by the time we make our bets for the big board.
yeah.
But I'm still going to go with the over, probably whether he plays or that's
So you go with the over
that
for
is
that
still
one.
yeah.
Uh, my final lock of the week, Dr. Scaff, in returning to my old friends, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as betting on them this week. Um, They're hosting Green Bay. The matchup between Aaron Rodgers' former team and his current team. Green Bay is favored by 3 points coming in to uh, what was once Heinz Field. Now, can't remember what it is now. Acrisure uh, Stadium. The, so the Steelers are 3 point underdogs. I think this is a game probably that Rodgers would really want for his team. So I could see the Steelers winning this one outright. So 3 points. I wish it had been 3.5. Then I'd really take the Steelers, but I'll still take them with three, and maybe you'll get a push at the worst outcome possible. But uh, I like the Steelers' chances to win at home. Again, they're Steelers and the Green Bay are both kind of streaky and unpredictable teams, I think, too. But it's going to be at Monday. It's going to be Sunday night at Pittsburgh. It's going to be a tough environment to come in and play. So I'm going to go with the Steelers +3 against the. And the Steelers are coming off a loss, but they're coming off a loss on Thursday, so they have more time to prepare. So it's sort of like a mini bye. Um, so I'm picking them over the Packers.
4-1-1 Packers. Don't want to forget
Or
that they have a tie on their schedule already, right?
they could tie again.
Yeah, with a 3 point spread, but Pittsburgh's +3, right?
Three plus three. So a tie would be fine with
So
me.
a tie for you is a win.
Tie with me is a win. You're right.
So you'd be totally fine with Green Bay being 4-1-2 after this game.
I would. I think that'd be hilarious. Let's see how many ties Green Bay can get.
Yeah. Yeah. How long do you think it's been since a team has had multiple
Multiple
ties in a season?
ties.
Has it been? It has to have been quite a while, right? Like, do you remember any teams with two ties?
Uh, Most ties in a single season since overtime was introduced as two, which has happened in 5 different seasons. So 5 teams have had two ties. Uh, the Chicago Bears in 1932 had 6 ties in 1 year. Two tie seasons have happened 45 times, most recently in 1973, when it happened to 4 separate teams: the Browns, the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Packers. So 1973 was the last year we had two
Oh,
tie teams. And
so
we had four two-tie teams that year.
wow, that's
They must,
crazy.
I wonder if they all tied among each other.
Yeah, we almost had
So,
to have, right?
yeah,
That's great.
yeah. So,
But when I asked you if you remembered a time, you cannot have because
yeah.
it did not happen in our
It has
lifetime.
not
So
happened in our lifetimes.
yeah,
We are not quite that old, fortunately.
yes,
Although you did turn 47 recently, Dr. Scout.
I
Uh,
did.
I'm still a youthful 46 for another
I successfully
six,
turned 47.
successfully. There were no setbacks, no
It's right on schedule too. I mean,
uh,
no delays.
that's
Yes.
that's very good. That's very good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You'll be there soon enough, Mike.
I will be there soon.
You're right on schedule to turn
I am on
47.
schedule. Yes, yes, I'm approaching it steadily and without uh, any without any unforeseen hitches. I will do it successfully, just as successfully as you, Dr. Scaff. So we have that to look forward to in the next several weeks. But we have this weekend, of course, to look forward to is our NFL Week 8 slate. Is there anything else you want to discuss about Week 8, Dr. Scaff? Any other games
Hmm.
that there aren't that many great games we don't really have that we have on the schedule, but we'll be monitoring all of them on the big board, and maybe possibly talking about any or all of them next week. Uh, but should
The,
we wrap up
the
this
other
week's?
probably like maybe like important, at least to Chiefs fans also, is the Dallas at Denver game. Does that interest you at all?
It
Not
does.
not for us on betting on our locks, but is it maybe it's because we neither one of us is that confident in what that outcome will be.
Yeah, I'd like to see Dallas's 3.5 point underdogs going in Denver. I'd like to see Dallas score a bunch of points against Denver and have Denver just lay an egg to
Yeah.
help the Chiefs getting back in the division lead. If but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Dallas doesn't have a good defense. Denver's could score a lot of points. Maybe Denver is going to rally and start building the momentum off of their 33 fourth quarter points against the newer football giants. But yeah, that'll be an interesting game to watch. I do hope Denver gets its comeuppance against Cowboys.
Even though we're not really like fans of Dallas, but in this case, we can be at least short-term fans of Dallas in this
Yeah,
scenario, right? Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
should we wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour?
Sure.
Anything
And
else?
again, not no interest for us on the Thursday night games. We're still
Oh yeah,
terrible at picking them. We don't
Minnesota
know. We apparently
Chargers.
don't know what to do with these, right?
I have no idea what to do with them. We'll figure something out before it comes across. But
That that was the last thing I was going to add.
yeah, I don't know. I think Minnesota is favored by, or the Chargers are favored by 3 at home against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And it's one of those things that maybe
I'm
we should like
leaning.
think about what we think is going to happen, then just do the other thing.
I lean Chargers, but that means probably Minnesota will come in and come up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in the home games aren't really home games for the Chargers,
Yeah.
but
And
who
their
knows?
offensive line, I don't think is going to be fixed
Yeah, the running back
still.
position they've been injured at too. Herbert's been good, but can he carry them? Wentz hasn't been so great for the Vikings, but I think the Vikings are relatively healthy. So we'll see what happens. And so we have that to look forward to this week here on the Warren Track Power Hour. We'll talk more next week about the Week 8 games, and we'll preview Week 9 in the NFL. We'll also talk about how the World Series is going. By the time Power Hour rolls around, the next recording session, we should be a few games into the World Series, and not at least and maybe have a picture of who's going to win. But we'll see what happens with that. Until then, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He's Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Warning Track Power Hour. Please like and or subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast, which is available on many different podcast delivery platforms, including the one that you're currently using. Uh, so uh, we also wish you the best of luck if you're making bets this weekend on any of the NFL games, as long as your interests do not conflict with ours. We know that many of you are trying to just take our loss so that we can do the opposite, which would mean that you are winning a little bit of money every week, while we are losing a little bit of money every week. So we know that's happening with our some of our listeners. I think are just picking going Costanzaing our bets, which may be the right thing to do. But maybe we Costanza ours, and if you Costanza, you would reverse it back to, of course, the losing bet. So you never know uh, how well we're going to do here in the Power Hour. But it's all up to the players, and usually they just haven't been playing up to our standards this year in many of these games. So we blame them.
Not
Not
us.
our bets have been the right picks, but the results have been unfairly determined by the players on the field and not by brains on the sideline.
Conspiracy, Mike. It's a conspiracy.
So it goes all the way to the top, whatever the top might be in this conspiracy.
Yeah.
But we'll discuss that more later next week on the Power Hour. Until next time, we will bid you a good day.